Hi, welcome to Destination FBA. For those of you new to the channel, my name is Emma and I upload regular videos all about my journey as an Amazon FBA seller, and I share things that you might find useful if you're selling via Amazon as well. So if you do find these videos useful, please do subscribe to the channel as there'll be lots more coming soon. So today I want to talk about something that all sellers dread, and that is the risk of suspension. Now, while your account is suspended, you won't be able to make any sales and you won't be able to withdraw any funds either. You're also at risk of losing that account altogether. Now, I was talking to someone this morning that's just been suspended and they've got a little bit of a fight on their hands to get that account back. So what I wanted to do now is go through the top reasons for suspension and how we can avoid these. So there's creating multiple accounts, poor seller performance, copyright infringement, counterfeit items, and selling of prohibited items. So let's take a look at the first one, creating multiple accounts. Now, Amazon are very strict with their rules and procedures, and the first thing you should do as a seller is make yourself aware of them. If you're breaking rules, you're immediately putting your account at risk. So Amazon implement a one account per seller rule, so don't think you can get around this by providing different information, because they'll look at things like your address, your bank details, your IP address. If you have two accounts, they will match them up and they will know. Now, the only exception to this rule is if you have a legitimate reason for needing a second account and you don't plan on selling the same products on both accounts. Now, before you set this up, you would need to speak to seller support, you need to provide the information, and you'd need to get their approval. So next we're going to take a look at poor seller performance. So it's really important you work on keeping the seller performance high. If you let this slip, then you could start heading towards a suspension. So always check that account health, and if you notice any problems, work on them immediately. So you can see the status of your account by clicking on the Performance tab on the home page and selecting Account Health in the drop-down menu. And then just here you can see your metrics down the left-hand side. Now, these aren't relevant to me as I'm doing FBA, but if you are selling via FBM, it's really important to keep these as low as possible. Your aim is to keep that order defect rate under 1%. So if you are selling via FBM, just make sure you're replying promptly to those customer queries and make sure you're sending those parcels out on time. You want to be keeping your customers happy, so you receive good ratings and good reviews. And next we're going to take a look at copyright infringement. So Amazon take copyright infringement really seriously, as they should do, and it's actually one of the biggest violations on Amazon. Now, whether or not you knew you're infringing on someone's intellectual property does not matter. You are still risking a warning or a suspension on your account. Now, you need to be really careful when you're listing an item and check that there's no known IP complaints. Now, you can do this on software like Buybot Pro, but do bear in mind that these softwares are not going to know every IP complaint. Now, receiving an IP complaint can be a serious issue and it could risk your whole account. So if you have an item and you're not sure whether you could sell it or whether you should sell it, then you're best to just play safe and not risk it. The more IP complaints you get, the less chance you have of getting that account unsuspended. So if you were to get suspended following an IP complaint, Amazon are going to want from you a plan of action going forward. Now, this needs to include things like the reasons you were selling these alleged infringing products, the steps you have taken to ensure you are no longer infringing, how you will avoid infringement in the future, and any other important information you think they need to know. So you need to reply to that suspension with this plan of action. Amazon will then evaluate it and they will make the decision on whether to reinstate your account. So you can see any current IP complaints by clicking the Performance tab on your homepage and clicking Account Health in the drop-down menu. Under this policy compliance section in the middle here, we can see where it says Received Intellectual Property Complaints. And this shows that I have one. So I have sent a plan of action into Amazon for this IP complaint, and I've had an email back to say that they've taken the listing down and there will be no further action against me. So next we want to look at counterfeit items. Now, if Amazon receive any report to make them believe an item may be counterfeit, they will take this very, very seriously. It is your responsibility as a seller to make sure all those items are authentic. So any counterfeit sales could result in an immediate suspension or termination of your account, and the items in question may be destroyed by Amazon. Make sure you are only purchasing from reputable companies and keep hold of all those supplier invoices. At least this way, if there's any claim against you, you have all the paperwork and you can send everything into Amazon to prove that those goods are authentic. Now, what I tend to do is just file these all away, separate them by month, so if I do need to find them, I can get to them really quickly and really easily. So then lastly, we're going to take a look at selling of prohibited items. Now, as a seller, it's your responsibility to make sure you're not selling any items that are prohibited by Amazon. So this is things like alcohol, cigarettes, medicines, video media, gift cards, the list goes on. There is so many items that are prohibited. Now, I will pop a link below that will take you to a page where everything is listed that you can't sell. Just have a good look through this and just make yourself aware. Now, as well as these, you can't send in any hazardous item unless you're registered into the Dangerous Goods programme. Now again, I have done a video on this, so I will link it below, but anything at all you buy, just do your research, analyse a deal and be sure that you can sell it. No matter how careful we are, there is a risk that we'll all receive an IP complaint at some point, so if we do and we receive a suspension, what can we do about this? Now, if your account is suspended, Amazon will email you and notify you of this. They'll also suspend your selling privileges and you won't be able to withdraw any funds. So to get this suspension lifted, you're going to need to create a plan of action, and from here one of three things will happen. So the appeal will be accepted and your suspension will be lifted. The appeal will be declined and you'll need to resubmit. Or worst case scenario, your account will be terminated and you will be permanently banned from selling on the Amazon marketplace. Now in this appeal letter, firstly you need to acknowledge the situation, so whether or not you believe it to be your fault, you need to accept the issue at hand. You then need to explain what steps you've taken to fix and resolve this problem and what steps you will take in future to make sure this doesn't happen again. Now keep this short, but keep it precise and to the point. If needs be, use bullet points just to spread it out, make it easy to read, and hopefully this will be enough to get that suspension lifted. Now if you go through this process and you are still struggling, there are services out there that can help you, like getunsuspended.com. Now I do know of sellers that have used this service and had nothing but good things to say, so don't panic and assume it's game over. You could still get that account back. Just be very careful when you're listing any items and do your best to always follow Amazon's policies and procedures. At least this way you are limiting the risk of any suspension on your account. So I hope this video has just helped you to understand some of the risks involved and how we can best avoid them. Now if you have found this useful, please do give it a big thumbs up and click that notification bell. But for now, thank you for watching and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.